Welcome back in. We're continuing on with our Solar Nations 2 playthrough. Last time around, we did a big check-in on the world and the changes that have been taking place, mainly with the East Asian People's Federation, India, Nigeria, Brazil, and we are continuing from that point. We did a bunch of additions to the Homeland. We finally were able to use those space investments to bring some goodness back to the people. We've added gene clinics, we've added healthcare, we've expanded the commerce, we are expanding the military in the Homeland quite a bit. And we're going to continue to do that as we tech up here. So military-wise, we've got interceptors and an airbase, and we were expanding our infantry, which I do see is done. And I'm not seeing any problems up here, so let's go ahead and expand that some more. So 8K more here would be 24, and then an additional 2K for artillery. I think we're going to continue this up till we get to about 100K. We're going to have one really serious defensive army here, and hopefully that, like I said, I'm not planning on doing the Earth conquest, at least not at the moment. But what I don't want is somebody like the East Asian Federation or India to get hungry eyes looking towards our highly developed homeland here. I'd much prefer if they buzzard off. So hopefully that will be the case. Also, I was going to double check. Okay, I did have somebody assigned here. And we actually don't want to be on defensive focus. We want to be on offensive focus. Yeah, I don't think anyone's spying on me, I'll be honest. We'll go ahead and do that. Civil liberties. Yeah, that development equilibrium, I'm not touching that. And somebody also mentioned maybe I should go off of algorithmic, which is giving me minus 10% development equilibrium, but extra edict benefit. That's hard to say. They said free enterprise, which would be build cost minus 20%, admin efficiency is a little bit lower. I don't know on that one. I kind of think we're okay where we're at. That algorithmic, the edict benefit being a quarter higher, I think is pretty good. It's also empowering my corporates, which is pretty good. I don't like that development equilibrium penalty, but I guess, I mean, you gotta take something somewhere, right? Another thing we were working on last time pretty hard was expanding our culture. We started at, I think, 30, and we're up to 49, apparently 48. Culture at the moment, and we're just trying to get that zipping along. Oh, I didn't even realize it's 2200 maximum culture traits +2 for the interplanetary age. With the maturation of space colonies pioneered in the 21st century, the center of worldly power shifts away from Earth and towards the other planets. The colonists on these new worlds have braved great hardships to build themselves new societies on other worlds and find themselves well prepared for the trial of empire. I do wish these all had like a situation like the poly crisis. I think that'd be really cool. So there'd be like something going on rather than just some flavor text. Because in this game, that's not the case. We are essentially 200 years in, and we don't even have that much. We don't even have that much out in space. I guess somebody went over to Vesta. Who's over here? Do you not have it grabbed yet? Oh, they do. It's Hubei. Okay, so Hubei province. So some Americans made it out there. That's an interesting choice of a grab. I don't know if I would bother with that, if I'm being honest. We also expanded ourselves into asteroid belt C, and we're building up at the moment. I have a big project that we need to work on, which is going to be the asteroid miner. The asteroid harvester costs 42 million. Holy moly. Wow, that is painful. Just from project count. We don't even have that many projects. Wow. God, did we just get started on that? Maybe we just get started on that. Let's pay off our 2 mil first, and then we'll go ahead and get started on that. Other things that we are working on, we are expanding other colonies, like we just did here on Europa. Trying to grab up some more of the juicier land as we can. I see, we have very low habitation. Okay, we were kind of out of genetic material, so I can't do any more cloning until I get some more genetic material. This place in particular, let's put the hydroponics in first, and then steel meal. It's just hard to say no to that when there's so many levels of steel. And this area can have a consumer good. All right, we'll swing back around to that. Okay, well, I guess it's good that we maybe have some savings here. We can add a new culture trait. I didn't actually have anything planned for this one because I didn't realize we were that close time-wise. What would we want? We would want more development. We would want more pop growth. Things like that would be stellar for me. Project and education. Yeah. Prosperism. We're gonna have to read through a lot of culture traits. My apologies here. Factory project efficiency could be kind of nice. Primary culture has higher taxes. We're not doing immigration. Unmatched ambition. Middle class loyalty. Factory build speed. Region population limit. Okay, not stellar. Intellectualism. I'm not going to read all these. I'll call out some of the ones I see that are super interesting. This could help. This is kind of on that research angle. Extra good leaders. That's another thing we kind of do. Utopianism. Extra unity. Unrest reduction, which we're not really having unrest problems. Although I probably should check in on some of these newer colonies, but... Okay, that does give a 10% prestige bonus. We're up to 5th place. So that is something. Rural laborers power. Resource income lowered. No, won't just get out of that. Transformism. Research. Project efficiency, just universal. Oh no, university. Okay, I was gonna say holy moly. Visions of perfection gives extra prestige. Education. Change is good. Stability minus. I don't know about that. And some extra Brave New World extra colonization range. We don't really need more range unless we're gonna go like inner solar. So I don't foresee that being super good. Okay, we're not totalitarianism, statism. Okay. This would be really okay. This one would be really good for the poly crisis. Admin efficiencies, whatever, but unrest reduction and stability gain. Industrial capacity, I don't really need that. Communism, I don't think we're going red here. Traditionalism, stability gain. Aristocrats, unity. Yeah, stoicism. Okay, that seems to be a lot of combat. Oh, we talked about this one before. Nuclear family. Ruling faction, regional power. That's good. Tax base is good. Admin is good. That lets me run like another edict on every area, basically, without the penalty of having low admin. Pop growth. Project build cost minus 20%. You know what? That's sounding mighty good at the moment. All right, I think we're in. We're in on nuclear family. Got it. All right, ruling faction power, and then we let the time go. I almost think maybe we'll hold off on starting our asteroid project until I get that minus 20% build cost modifier. That may be worthwhile because that's going to be exceptionally painful. Okay, what else did we have here? Do we have anything else that like jumped out as interesting? 4 nuclear fuel is vaguely interesting. Just making some stuff. All right, 4 fuel is interesting enough. We'll colonize that. And as usual, all the infrastructure. I'm not worried about somebody else coming in and stealing it. So I don't care about the speed of this. What I care about is I don't have to spend years building 5 infrastructure before we're ready to build something else. Where are we at tech-wise? Okay, I do want to let a few more get done. Yeah, we got all kinds of tech to do. We need to get some more research. Let's jump over to our asteroid stuff. All right, so asteroid belt C. Yeah, you got the basics down. Okay, I think we need university stuff out here. That was one of my wants for grabbing this to start with, so. What is that? Oh, we just got a tech. Perfect. Research complete. We got rigid oligarchy. Could give my aristocrats some power. Makes the enemy's siege slower. Don't care. All right, so university. Education efficiency. Can have up to 3 of them. Do we have that maxed out in our first area? We have the spaceport at level 3. We do have the university at 3. Okay. Why is C come before B here? Is this in the order I colonized? All right, give me the university. All right, research industry. Did I have that here? Research industry. Yes. We also have these other departments, I guess. We should take a minute and look at this. So what does this use? This uses 50 robots. But would give me... Okay, so I probably should do at least one place that has these things. 50 genetic material and 50 neural net. Okay, I don't think I can do that at the moment, but... Oh, and we're losing a little bit of genetic material. I need to do something about that. So the moon. To the moon! Let's go to those places that have, like, nothing. You're pretty low. And let's add in there some genetic material factory. Now, you also could do population harvesting, but because we are trying to make our population grow, and we want to grow, like, hard, I don't want to do anything that touches that. Not yet, at least. Who knows if we'll get to the point where maybe that changes. Oh, yeah, prime locations. At some point, I assume it's going to be rather difficult to keep running clone vats because they're just going to be so expensive in areas that have high pop. But for the time being, at least, I feel like that's a really good investment. I think I'm just going to do the entire moon here since I'm just on topic. I guess, and if I'm doing the entire moon, I really should go do it during the planner. Let's change that up. Go to the planner. I want to look at Luna. And I want to build genetic material factories. And now some of these places I probably don't want to build them on, like where it's 300k. I think everywhere else gets one though. Yeah, not in the capital, just too expensive. We'll have other expensive things to be building there later. Okay, and that'll solve that problem momentarily. Okay, back to what I was working on. Back to... not Jupiter A. Asteroid belt C. Okay, we got our university in. Take that to level 3. Okay, research industry. Industrial capacity and education. Perfect for these type of places. Yep. Yeah, man, that's so good. We need to get some AI stuff going, I think. I think I've been letting myself slip on that. All right, then we need stable orbit B. Okay, same thing. So we need the university, research industry. I wish I could just queue up the upgrades right off the bat. Stable C. University, research industry, and D and E. Now, hopefully if I'm understanding this right, even though these aren't going to be our highest ones, so they're not going to raise our research industry thing up here, by having these, we'll see our number go up, which it definitely has, because we were at like 50, I want to say 48 or 50 for a long time. So hopefully we'll see those increase. 72 at the moment. We raised our education spending hard last time, so we should see an increase there. Tax is 10% higher. We like that. And extra admin efficiency. Okay, here's another thing I can do. Let's look at edicts. There's a research grant. Yeah, research grants. Oh god, this UI is terrible. I can't. Oh my gosh, I can't. Ooh, okay, I can't do just a single planet here. Admin filter. Yikes. Okay, well. Oh man, I can't even see it from how far back I say. Okay, that does say E. 4, 5. All right, yeah, we're going to give research grants to all of our stations there with the hope that that'll make a big difference. Let's back out of there and look. Okay, so we are up to, we're producing 8 research. University and research industries both maxed out, which is giving me really high education efficiency. And our research sector level, oh, you don't break down where we're getting those numbers from. Hopefully that is worth our time. I'm not 100% certain if it is or isn't. Number is going up a little bit. Remember, I think the education also is going to take time to work its way through our population, which is also up to 159. So we're getting somewhere. We were able to pick up family resourcefulness, population growth plus 10%. Yep. More of that, please. All right, we got a lot of genetics, but the cost is going to go up as the population goes up. So I got to be a little bit careful about what I'm doing with that. We've almost paid off that debt. I think I'm just going to wait, like I said. I think we're going to try to nab that 20% discount before we start a $40+ million dollar project. So we're just going to have to chill on that a little bit. All right, and then over here, we want 1, 2, 1, 2. We're going to do that for everybody. Everybody's going to get so smart. Smarties from Jupiter, apparently. I feel like that's another one that, knowing what I know now, I feel like we should have found some way to get some research kick-started earlier on than I did. Okay, that should be all of them. Now, if we go back to Earth, how are we doing here? Research complete, great. Okay, I'm still not really seeing a huge problem here in our manpower. Let's do another 8K. Or maybe we go higher. Maybe now's the time. So let's just do it. So we want to go 80K infantry, and then we're going to go to 20K artillery. All right, we'll see what that does to our economy and whatnot. I also need to probably do some deployments on the moon. Okay, 10% more unity, great. Boy, you can fill this up really quick. Let me know if you guys are playing along. Do you guys, especially if you're playing like big nations, do you get your culture power this quick? I have a feeling we partly get this because we only have 2 populations and they're basically the same. Accepted culture's 238%. I assume that's why I'm getting so many. And I can't find a way to see other people to tell the difference. Okay, my spy network is also growing. Enemy defense plus 25%. Oh no. Send money. No, I don't think we will be doing that. Nope. No tribute pay in here. Research complete. All right, so these guys. All right, so my 100K cost me 1.1K industrial capacity. That's a joke. We have so much. Cost me 97 manpower. And, oh, okay, this is all my armies in this area. That includes the airbase. And we have some interceptors. Our logistics is increasing. Oh, no, it's not increasing. That's just, we have that amount of logistics here. And that's based on how these units are built. And I don't think we've seen anything new that makes me want to plunk things down. I guess entertainment zone. What do you do? And it is culture. All right. Yeah. You guys can have an entertainment industry. Get famous, all of the famous shopping done. the Akatu streets, etc., etc. We'll get those built up here quick. We also can raise the level of the aerodrome and the genetics material. Okay, I don't want to do either one of those yet. Although, some extra Air Force might be a good idea. Think about it. Okay, and when you finish that, I can raise your level more. Here we are. All right, project cost minus 20%. That's what we were waiting for. Let's go to... Oh, okay. Asteroid belt C. I see. Okay, that is in a weird spot, but it makes sense now. I don't know why Jupiter stable orbit A is not there. That's just a weird way to organize this. All right, but this is where we want to do it. This is our asteroid one, not our Jovian one. And this is where we would like to put in our asteroid, which we raised the price because I accidentally built the universities here. All right, I think we're just going to eat it though. So this is going to give us 10,000 industrial capacity, basically giving us a 50% bonus, give or take. Also education efficiency and research speed. So it's worth it. This is essentially a wonder, basically. And if we're going to do that here, construction subsidy. Asteroid belt C. That's us. All right, I think we're going to turn these other ones off. I don't think we need those anymore. We probably should go through and check places that these will be useful for. It's only going to take us like 3 years. Wow. All right, and how horrific is this going to be? Pretty bad. Pretty bad. But we'll be paying that off as we go. I'm going to halt my spending. It's going to take time for the debt penalty to go up. And we have suckered into our technocrats really hard. Maybe we can even give them a little something. Something to make them a little bit better. Electronics factory efficiency. Oh, well, here we go. We could have given them some more project build cost reduction. That would have been really good. Crony contracts. Okay, there's another one. Okay, maybe I should have been in here more. We'll give them some crony contracts. And... all right, you know what? And we're going to do some corporate collusion. I should have done those before we paid for that. We could have had much less. All right, it is what it is. Now we just need to ride out paying off that debt. We have increased our economy quite handily. If we look at the Central Japan, remember, I think our top earner at Central was 40K, and now we're up to 57, just for example. So that's something. Oh, I should have not closed that. No, please give me the asteroid. I want this to get done. We also could, I suppose, sell off some industrial capacity. I don't like doing that because you're funding your enemies, basically. Ultra ideal cost, minus, sure. But maybe that's not a bad idea. Demand is 1.6. Yeah, there's so much supply. It's worth almost nothing. All right, I'm going to sell 10K. Sell 10K of it just briefly. All right, that was a pretty penny, I suppose. Was a pretty penny. That'll just help us pay down this debt a little bit before it gets too out of hand. I'm even going to increase our speed here because I'm not going to spend anything while that's paying down. So there you go. All the people who wanted me to spend money, I hope you're happy now. And here we're getting the debt minus 0.35. And we are just getting started on that debt penalty. I like that that's not instant. I like that it builds up into it. So that's nice. I would like to see that debt coming down though. I feel like we've been at 73 million for quite a while. Let's get that paid off here, people. Okay, I wonder if that also, like, I wonder if how much liquidity we have or how many assets we have, our capital, etc., etc. I wonder how that influences this, because I assume big countries can probably go really far into debt. Apparently, we are over leveraged greatly. Yeah, and that's another reason I wanted to let that stability get really high, because I think we're going to take a pretty big stability hit here for a little bit. Yeah, it's coming down. It's coming down. And we have finished it. So there we go. We have plus 29K. You know what? Remember my comment about it not being worth much? I guess it's worth enough, right? We'll sell 30K. I'm still making... Oops, I clicked the wrong button there. That's why. Sell... 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, I'm not going to continue to sell that much forever, but that'll make us allow us to put a ding into that debt. Research complete. We got some more military drives. How are we doing there? We're up to 84 on the research too. I feel like this is better than it was. I really wish there was a way to see where everyone else is. I feel like we're way behind. I still feel like we're way behind. Biotech, yep, add that. And then we have a dangerous tech, gray goo, human genetic engineering, service industry, efficiency, engineered evolution. I don't know what that is, but that looks important. Break the boundaries placed on us by nature. Living metals. Project build cost minus 15%. Project build speed minus 50. That's still probably worth it. All right, but that's super high. Let's come back here. Yeah, some more computing stuff would probably be a good idea. We could build an ultra computer. Admin efficiency and research speed. All right, that sounds pretty good. Yeah, just getting. I think we're just gonna kind of go through here. I'm gonna skip the cybernetic stuff for now. New tech, great. All right, that's probably enough queued up at the moment. All right, well, we're paying it down. Resource tax. Yeah, our resource tax have overcome our income taxes pretty heartily at this point. We're halfway to the maximum. The maximum. That's going to get pretty spicy. That's going to get pretty spicy. All right, it's fine. It's going to come down. Oh, I don't like that development equilibrium, though. Maybe I should have saved up more before I spent that. It's all right. We'll get there. We'll get there. How are you guys feeling about that entertainment stuff? So we're limited to 5. It gives culture sector level modifier and corporate power. All right, so yeah, here we are. Culture. So this unity 10% per level. So we're getting 50% more unity because we have one max one. So I don't know if we can export culture. So I'm not sure if it was worth it to spread that out or if we should have just had one cultural sector. But you guys are producing, right? Because this is... I want my monument. Culture sector level. Okay, that helps with assimilation. So if you're doing a non-closed border playthrough, monuments would be super important. And some extras. Yeah, I'm not sure if that was worth spreading that out or if we should have just kept that in one region. Yeah. Not certain on that one. All right. How's it only 83K? Yeah, that should be 113K. Interesting. Yeah, that is very interesting. All right, hopefully we have enough thorns here that no one's going to be rather interested in us. Paying that debt down nicely. Although, nervous. What I'd like to see is that we get the maximum penalty lowered. 209. It just ticked down from 210, so that's something. We're almost to maximum penalty, and then it's going to start coming down. Yeah, I feel like I should have just waited. That was too much debt at once. We could have held off and then had some in the bank. I probably could have handled more like 30K, or excuse me, 30 million. It's all right. We'll just pay it. We'll pay it off. We're good for it. You know it. I know it. 58K. Okay, I guess another thing we could do. Let's go. Not via that. Let's go in here. Okay, 100% admin. Okay, these are all at 100% admin. If we come into here, no more construction subsidies for you guys. Increased taxation. Yeah, we'd get 3.5K here. So if we do that, the capital is fine. We're still over 100% in both of those. Okay. Extraction subsidies. This might be worthwhile because that would raise our food cap, which apparently is 16. I should probably double check where that's at. Okay, we're already running the economics here. Okay, so that is all the best ones here. Is there anywhere else that makes enough money to make it worth my time? Yeah, okay. Give me... expand all the things. Yeah, this isn't the worst outliner I've ever played with, but nor is it the best. All right, 9K, 8K, 13. Yeah, because we took that big development hit. You might be worthwhile. We're at 100% admin. I really wish this would tell me what my non-maximum value is, so I didn't have to sit here and try to calculate it. Accepted cultures is 81%. I think it's probably just easier if I just go via this. And I think these are organized by... These are organized by admin efficiency. Sort by benefit. That's probably better in this case. So, okay, here's a good example. If I did it here, we would drop below 100% efficiency, and efficiency is just a straight multiplier. So being below 100% is a pretty nasty penalty, wouldn't be worthwhile. However, here, this would be worth our while. Yeah, so we want above 125%, and then we want positive numbers coming off of, although these are down in like the 200s. That's probably just not even worth running, if I'm being honest. Yeah, it's fine, I suppose. These are worthwhile because they're bigger numbers. If we look at increased taxation, same thing. All right, you can, because that's our moon capital, I feel like they have to have it too. And rapid development. Okay, they are down to where I wouldn't want that any higher. Okay, here. Oh yeah, that's killing my development. My goodness. That is absolutely killing our development. We do not like that. All right, but we have maxed out on the penalty, and we are bringing it down. Anything else I could sell? Not really. All right, debt. Debt is a thing. Debt is a real thing. That's pretty nasty. All right, since we have to just sit around and wait, let's just take another world tour. Okay, Nigeria probably will be the regional superpower here shortly. It looks like they're taking over, and I don't see any of the big players. Yeah, I don't see any of the big players taking anything here, so he's going to be pretty unchecked. Brazil. Portugal apparently took a little chunk of Brazil. Not much else going on in America. How are we doing on the moon? Unless... Okay, 92 ships in orbit. I do notice that. But apparently I have the only military that's stationed here, even if it is small. So that's something, right? Quantum computing. Nice. Okay, that's all the military tax. Well, except I can't spend money on that Space Force at the moment. That would be a bad plan. That would be a really bad plan. Okay, but we at least have something here, so they would have to show up to fight me. Probably need to do the same thing. Probably want to put some on our asteroid, if I'm being honest, but then also just we need an army in Jupiter. Yeah, that's kind of a bad double whammy. The fact that that's lowering our development that much. It's not even that bad of a repay time, if I'm being honest. I'm getting that down. Okay, I'll tell you what. I'm going to have you guys paused for just a minute because I'm not going to be able to be building anything or anything like that. I'm just going to let research tick by, and I'm going to let that debt come down, and then I will bring you guys back in. All right, I'm bringing you guys back in. It's been quite a while. We're in 2300, and that was the age of debt, apparently. We still owe 27 million. I queued up very, very little. A couple of little things that we're going to make some decent amounts of money and pay themselves off pretty quick. As you can see here, we still have the 35% development equilibrium penalty, but we're coming off that pretty strong. If you look at Central Japan, for example, over here, we are almost making 100K off of them now. So pretty nice there. As those populations have gone up, we have used up more and more of that genetic material. So we're gonna have to put some thought into how we want to deal with that here in a minute. But Age of Abominations, maximum culture trait +3, technological singularity crisis spawn rate +1000%, eugenics unleashed crisis spawn rate +1000%. Technology returns to the forefront of developments as scientific understanding reaches never before seen heights. No longer constrained to the pages of fictions, dreams and nightmares come into being, with the later being far more common than the former. So that is pretty interesting. We only have the age of unification age, the dark century, and the age beyond left on those. So very interesting there. Let me let the game play here. So we've gone through a lot of tech just to keep my tech busy. We're kind of cleaning up the techs so we can make that jump into the next tier. I feel like we are less behind, but again, I have no idea. We also lost a whole bunch of our spy influence, so for whatever that was supposed to do, it doesn't seem like it was able to do it. Let's go ahead and look at our culture traits again and decide what we want. So we made it all the way down to here last time. Consumer culture. This was when we thought about quite heavily at the beginning. Resource income. Resources are my #1 income source, I believe still. No, the income taxes actually overtook it. So our population did catch up. So that's food for thought. Corporate power would be all right. maximum income tax. We can't raise taxes, so that's kind of a moot point. Prestige 10%, that would be nice. We did crawl our way up to 4th place. Admin efficiency would be good. And extra manufacturing levels. All right, consumer culture is high on the list. Let me just see if we find anything else super interesting here. I'd like to not spawn a crisis, so I don't know about those ones. Diligent, leader gain, resource income, management skill, education, project build speed. If it was project cost, I think I'd be much more interested. Admin efficiency 20 from a Luddite. I don't know about that one. Okay, now we're heading innovative. Education, middle class, project upkeep, leader gain. Just not seeing it. Astronautical primacy. That's gonna be like the Space Navy. Industrious. Project build speed really high. That could be interesting to take that. Plus that gray goo, or was it? No, not gray goo. The liquid metal or living metal, which gave us that huge penalty to build speed, but a nice reduction in cost. Project upkeep, tax base goes up. You know what? Industrious, go. I'm liking it. So workforce means extra taxpayers. Resource capacity, don't really care. Build speed plus 50%. Regional political power, yep. Project upkeep, tax base. Wow. So I feel like we need another sink for our culture points. I just literally can't spend it. We already have enough to max out the next tree in 100 years. So yeah, I don't know exactly what we're gonna do about that. Not much has changed that I saw. Although I say that second I go to Earthwatch, it's gonna be like horrendously different. America is still America. Brazil was able to reclaim that section from Portugal. Oh, they've become the Ivory Coast now over here. All right, still continuing to expand a little bit. Not too much change here. Yeah, just power blocks basically forming. Luna, I don't believe we've had any change. Yeah, every once in a while I do see that people bring fleets up here, but they don't seem to be doing anything with them at the moment. Just flying around having fun, I suppose. Stable, no, I want my C. Where are you at, C? 22k from that asteroid base, so not nothing. And then I guess you also need to account for how much industrial capacity I'm selling, because a decent amount of my income is coming from that. Do 4 more of those. We have absolutely crashed that price. It's down to $11 per unit, but I definitely had to. We would have been in big trouble. When we got down to about 40k, I was able to stabilize my stability and recrawl. We didn't actually get that bad. We got down to like 55 or 60 stability. So it wasn't as bad as it might have otherwise been. But that's very much in part due to the technocrats and their minus 30% effect there. So very, very important. Yeah, the negative effects from debt, minus essentially 30%. That was huge. That was absolutely huge for keeping this under control. Without that, we would have been, I don't think we would have had a civil war, but we would have been really low. It wouldn't have been pleasant, let's put it that way. And we're getting closer and closer to being able to pay this off. All right, I'm gonna pause you guys again and let that continue on, and then I'll check in again. All right, and we're back again. I'm almost done paying off our debt. It only took us another like 150 years from that. That was a pretty big mistake, I would say. Yeah, it is not worth it. The thing is, so people were really, really on about, well, you should have the debt because it's fine as long as you're making money, you'll be able to pay it back. But here's the thing I think they're missing. The development equilibrium is a pretty strong multiplier. And the difference in money that we were making before compared to now, remember at the beginning of the episode when I said Central Japan was making like 40k or something? Look what we're making now. Now, yeah, I have done a little bit of work here, but The main thing was we had dropped down to like 2 or something on development, and now we're up to 4.47 on that. So it is a very strong multiplier. Now that does mostly apply to population. So being super low pop, maybe it would have been better to do that at a certain point. However, we are almost 5 times the amount of population that we had started with. We are up to almost 500,000 people. So we have definitely made some pretty big strides in that regard. I'm actually struggling a little bit to have enough genetic material at this point to keep everything up and running, but I'm doing the best I can on that. I really want to see how much debt can I hold without equilibrium taking a hit. I think we're going to be able to have a little bit of debt, but not that much. And actually, now that I look at this, we're maxed on stability. Do I even have anything I need to spend it on? I mean, I guess we could give middle class some stuff. Project build cost reduction, why yes. And laissez-faire economics, project efficiency. That's pretty good. There seems to be a lot of bonuses to electronic sector. I'm not sure it's that good, but there's definitely a lot of bonuses to it. Tax base increase would be pretty strong, and I can actually probably eat that stability. I like that project efficiency though. I think we're gonna take the project efficiency. Yeah, I'm upgrading the entertainment sectors only in the capital this time around. I'm not sure those other ones are actually making us... I'm not sure those are making money. But it does help my corporate power, which as you can see is super high. Both of these just have a complete stranglehold. Together they're over 200% political approval. And they are 52% of the political power. We've also, like I mentioned, crossed over into metaphysical engineering, the final frontier at the moment. We're heading into the super late game techs, which apparently I need to pick a tech to research. I don't want those dangerous techs at the moment, so I'm holding off on those. Super materials is actually pretty good. We have a bunch of buildings that I just couldn't afford to build, so I had to hold off on them. One of which is a big antimatter project, so that we could build an antimatter reactor, but we're gonna need a lot of collectors over at Jupiter, and they were like half a mil each, which obviously I just couldn't afford. So we will get back on track. We'll get back on track. I did get up to 100k here, and on the moon I also raised one of our stacks. One of our stacks to the 100,000. So 80k infantry and 20k artillery, and then we still have a couple small ones around. Once we are fully out of debt here, is it really you're always gonna have a penalty? Okay, I can hold about 66k of debt with not having a penalty. Maybe there's a happy middle ground there where you take a little bit of penalty, but I mean, you can see here, we were down to 500,000-ish. When I sold all I could sell, etc., and I've not really put down anything that's making me more money, and yet I've almost doubled my income because our development has recouped back to, I think, back to where it was, or maybe even a little bit higher at this point. And of course, population has continued to grow, so there is that factor, but still, very noticeable. Again, though, this is mostly from taxes on people, not resource things. So high pop is definitely the way to go. So I think no matter who you're playing, one of your big goals needs to be growing your population as hard as you possibly can. All right, let's actually peek. I didn't even go look at these yet. What do we have? Speaking of pop growth, there you go. Extra habitability is not bad either. Do that up. Social cohesion, extra development, extra resources. Yeah, that sounds good. Education, we like that. We are super duper educated, by the way. Like ridiculously high. I'm even gonna grab cultural economics. That'll keep us busy for a hot minute. How do I show that? Culture. So that's on culture, not research at the moment. Shoot, how do I show that? Okay, maybe I can't show it here, but we have a really high, it's like 500% research from education or something. Like we've really turned that around and got the research sector just a bumping away. It's been very quiet though. I spent a lot of time just kind of hovering around the world and watching, and I didn't actually see, I think they're diplo annexing these basically, because I haven't really seen anything unless I just don't see their armies unless I'm involved in the conflict. I'm not certain. Hey, we have Russia too. Oh, speaking again, look at this. They have a revolt. We weren't notified of that at all or anything. I think that's probably my biggest weak point. Like other UI elements have to be improved too, but I need to know what's happening. What's cool about these type of games is how the simulation runs and things change, and we're just not getting that because I just never know when things are happening. Yeah, Brazil's having some problems. It looks like they kicked the Asian Federation out. No, they're still here, kind of, sort of, but in a different incarnation. Yeah, so that's just too bad. We're still in 4th place, so we are getting there. Our military is helping a little bit, but our economy is roaring along. So that has been pretty good. We also got, now that I think about it, we got a tech to increase our resource extraction. Let's do that. This is our main food supplier still, so pretty important that we increase that. Let's slow this down, but play. And then my big steel mills definitely are going to want that. Oh, and apparently we got a couple levels of infrastructure and a couple levels of resource extraction. Okay, been a little lax on that apparently. Let's get in there and fix that. Big money, big money. I have been working slowly. I didn't want to not do colonization, so I have been slowly working my way through. Haven't really found anything that I was just like, ooh, that's amazing. But I've been slowly working on it. Wow, even just those things I just queued up, we're back down to 9 million in debt. Easy come, easy go, as it were. Up to 56 on our refining. Is that with those done? You're my 56. Are you actually higher than Asteroid Belt C? Oh yeah, definitely higher than Asteroid Belt C. That actually surprises me a little bit. So yeah, I am very happy with my investment here in Phobos. Now it will change a little bit just depending on what you find when you survey, but that is pretty incredible that we have 56. And I see, I just want to look at the project cost. Gravity. Okay, so corporate's lowering it, middle class is lowering. Yeah, look at that. I have like more than 100% cost reduction modifier, and we're still paying that much. That is pretty brutal, I will say. All right, new sectors in. So we grab space habitation. We are going to need to grab a genetic material factory. And then you can have some clone vats. We do need to get started on these chromite refineries. I couldn't find any resources that gave a bonus to this, but I'm going to need these because the chromite is used for the super construction. And then the super construction is super good. Look at that. Build cost reduction to another 58% and a whole bunch of build speed. So very good. Strategic region vulnerability is like if you get nuked. So this reduces your vulnerability to that. We also picked up space elevators, which also need it, and a huge development equilibrium. Like that's huge. So we're gonna need a bajillion chromite, like a bajillion. I don't even know how exactly I'm gonna produce that much. Maybe on IO, but the problem with IO is these traits where they make the cost high for building projects. I think we do expand here, but it's mainly just going to be mining and manufacturing, and maybe we put the chromite somewhere else. Some of those quiet regions, for example, on the moon that just don't have a lot going on. this might be a prime location. How much am I clicking that for? Oh, those are like nothing. Okay, you know what? You get a big genetic factory there. But yeah, some of these other ones that are pretty quiet. Yeah, not my power sector. Yeah, definitely not my power sector. All right, you. Let's just get a little bit. I want to see what the strategic bonus to it is. Where are you? Oh, can I not build you here? Chromite. Okay, let's plop one down there. I just want to see what that's going to give us for a strategic bonus. Hopefully it'll show up top. Or actually, now that I think about it, it won't. It'll be one of these, won't it? Because I'm producing a certain amount of it, not a level. We do have our commerce up to 5, which is really nice. And you can see it's our mainland is mainly holding that down. We got the service industry unlocked, which is raising that quite nicely. Do we have anything else here that would help? Brain control chips. Yeah, we haven't really played with that too much. So, yeah, we definitely would like space elevators here. If you don't have antimatter from somewhere else, you can build super colliders, but we do. We just need to get in and do it. Energy 15. What does that even mean? Is that different than... Okay, that is interesting. So I guess if you don't have any other energy sources, that might be something for doing there too. Interesting. Yeah, so it's been going all right. Like I said, that was definitely a huge mistake. That was way too much debt to take on. It basically just stopped me in my tracks for about 100 years while I paid off that debt. We just didn't have the GDP for that. It would have been far more effective to save up 30 or 40 million and then take 30 million debt, probably somewhere in that neighborhood. We almost got up to minus 200% on development, just absolutely killed my cash flow. So like I said, totally not worth it. I wouldn't do it that way again. All right, and here, I mean, we're just kind of taking everything. So you've already been surveyed. Sure, have your colonists go. Compared to the cost of everything else, it's not that expensive to build new colonies. So I'm just kind of slow boating my way through there. I don't think there's been too much action either in the space, which is really weird. Like, I kind of was just letting the AI catch up, if I'm being honest. There's a little bit. We've got, I guess Germany made it out here finally. That's recent. And we saw this one earlier. That's the United States breakaway. All right, they're starting to take some of the bodies. But that's basically because I let them. I mean, I could have literally taken the entire asteroid belt. So I will say the AI has been relatively passive. I've had literally no Diplo contact. I've had no wars, no threats, nothing. So there's another aspect that I'm sure is going to be worked on, but there needs to be some interaction. Like, could we trade? Could we do something? People said there was really good, and did China or did the East Asia thing cease to exist? I just realized that I'm not spending like any Diplo. Again, the messaging just needs to really be improved, because the fact that I didn't know that my greatest rival crumpled is pretty sad. So if we're in 4th place, I wish I could just click on that and it would tell me. So yeah. So we have South Asia, which apparently is the new India, is in 1st place by a lot. They have 30k prestige. Can we see the prestige breakdown? They have almost 13,000 economy and they have a ginormous almost 18,000 army. But again, how would I know that without that screen? Like, I don't see any troops or anything. I've never seen their flag. Oh, here they are. All right, they finally got out into space apparently with some low orbit, 1,000 planes. Okay, I mean, that makes sense. Now, we do have the capability, I think, to zip on up in that scale, because I am selling 44,000 industrial capacity. So we could really, really expand our military. And that probably is what we're going to need to do. I think that could be faster than continuing to expand our economy, which is healthier. Hey, look at that. We're making a mill. We have never been making a mill. Remember at the beginning of the game where we were making 20K? That was a long time ago, but, you know, very relevant. Very relevant. So, yeah, I've learned so much from this playthrough so far, and I think we'll continue on. We'll at least maybe try to run out the clock at least, just so I can say I've kind of seen it. And we maybe the goal will be, we'll get the warp drive and we'll just go somewhere else just to say we did. And we'll see, like, if we go here, I believe your planets are around here, aren't they? Oops, maybe if I don't jump into the sun. Yeah, Proxima A and B. These are the possible, I think it's B that might be habitable, we think. Apparently you're just one region. You got 1G of gravity, that's super exciting. And Proxima A. Are you tidally locked? Yeah, you're much smaller. Yeah, you're tidally locked? Okay, that's a really good sign that I could tell that. The reason I say that is it's relatively close to a kind of cool star, but relatively close, and yet it has the ice thing. Although this is backwards, the ice should be on the dark side, but still, that's kind of funny. Okay, well, we're going to be winding this one down here, so hopefully it was enjoyable. I'm sorry I had to make so many big cuts, but there was literally just like 20 minutes of me in fast forward, sitting around, clicking around menus, looking for interesting things to talk about, and there just wasn't much to say. It was basically, yeah, we're in debt. It's a lot. We're working on it. Please enjoy. Please don't send the debt collectors to come break my knees. So let's wind that up there. Japan doing pretty well for themselves. Kind of regretting how they didn't finance their asteroid collector very well. I don't know if that wonder means that that's one per faction or if I have the only one. It is pretty powerful, I will say. That 15-ish K industry we got and a just straight 10% research bonus is pretty good. And if that's unique, that is pretty strong. Although there's so much iron out here, I think a lot of people could get a lot of industrial capacity if they are so inclined. So as always, if you enjoyed it, don't forget to leave a like on the video. That tells me what people are enjoying and tells YouTube that people like you who have good taste in games might enjoy this and maybe they should give it a try. If you're not subscribed, I hope I've earned your subscription. I'd love to have you back. And as always, you can support the channel by leaving a super thanks, join me live for a super chat, check out the channel memberships or the Patreon linked in the channel info. All right, guys, get out there and conquer Jupiter. I'll see you in the next one. Babble out.